Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Blessings and salutations to our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very good morning to all distinguished guests, panelists, and members of the media. We are indeed honored once again today to have a distinguished panelist with tremendous experience in their respective fields. And I would like to thank Crescent Rating for inviting me to this forum. Topic this morning is increasing halal food diversity at destinations such as Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and Singapore. Joining us this morning are panelists representing from these four countries mentioned. Their background and details of their respective organization and the details of what capacity they are functioning are all available at the forum website, and all registered participants may have a look at your own time. For the panelists, we will be allocating 10 to 12 minutes per panelist and 2 to 3 minutes to wrap up at the end if we still have time left. If we have a warning light, then we have to stop. That means our time is up. So in the interest of time, I will get straight into the discussion by welcoming our first panelist representing Korea Tourist Organization. Since she's the only lady, we'll start the ladies first as usual. This morning, Miss Hiza Idris, who is parked in Malaysia, representing the marketing team of Korea Tourist Organization. She's been around there for the last 7 years, I was told, and she's in charge of Korea MICE and Muslim marketing and promotion. Hiza, I remember when I visited Korea many years back, halal food is almost unheard of. And furthermore, in Korea, you don't have much Muslim population. But I think things has changed slightly and things are moving differently. I believe the Korean dramas has played or has influenced a lot in making your destination extremely popular. The ladies, I think both Malaysia, Indonesia, and the surrounding neighborhood are really glued to the TV, and you are really fantastic in making this destination marketing through a different kind of mechanism. I just want to ask you this. How have you been able to encourage in a given situation where not many Muslims in the country, and you still can encourage your F&B sector to offer halal options to travelers? As I see now, things are changing. There's a lot of presence of halal food. Please share with us your secret.
Thank you so much, Datuk Ilyas, and also the panel today for inviting me to be part of the session today. As you can tell, back to the question, as you can tell that South Korea is not really a Muslim majority country. And that's why I think because of the Hallyu, what we call all this K-pop, K-drama, we call it as a part of Hallyu wave, it has contributed greatly towards the number of tourists visiting to Korea, especially in Malaysia.
Mashallah.
Yeah. And surprisingly, in 2019, our Muslim visitors has exceeded 1 million. So, yeah, apparently from 2015, we, like my organization, we have been working on a lot of campaign and programs because we noticed that the trend for Muslim travelers has changed, and they are coming more and more to Korea because of this Hallyu wave. So we started to provide exposure. So in terms of support for these F&B providers, so that we can provide exposure and also promotion for them, we created and published a booklet called Muslim-friendly restaurants in Korea. So from 2015, we only had around like 100 restaurants that we actually categorized them into 4 different categories. this book is very essential for Muslim travelers to Korea. I mean, not just for Malaysian tourists, but for all Muslims all around the globe to travel to Korea. We provide this book for them so that they can use it to check on the restaurant based on their faith they need. So first is restaurants. We called it halal certified, which is certified by the Korean Muslim Federations. And second one, we have like halal certified, which means self certified, which means that is they have the halal dishes there. The owner or the cooks are Muslim. And the third category is called Muslim friendly, which means they offer halal dish, or they could be seafood restaurants or vegan restaurants, but they do sell alcohol at the facilities. And the last category, the lowest one in our book, is called pork free, which means that they don't sell pork at the facility, but it's safe. It's safe for Muslim to eat there. Yeah, it's just that you have to be careful. We did mention in the book as well, you can opt by choosing vegan dishes. Like we have a lot of Korean dishes that offer vegetarian meals. Yeah, so now as of 2020, in our book, we have more than 300 restaurants that have been categorized in this. So it has been a great major help for Muslim tourists when they visit to Korea.
Fantastic, fantastic. So these are dishes that you have serving now. They are more. See, in many countries, a lot of people were serving so-called Muslim dish, but they make it that the Muslim dish will be more of Indian origin or Middle Eastern origin. Are there now more variety in Korea that you are encouraging the F&B sector to infuse the real Korean dishes, which is very, very popular, and I think people beginning to know about it.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of restaurants, we do have all sorts of like Arabic food and Malaysian food there, but we try to put more Korean variety
Authentic
of
Korean
food.
food.
Yeah, correct. There are a lot like from seafood based, from tofu based food. Like for example, even from kimchi based. I think this is like one of the most top favorite food like among Malaysian tourists. Like they
Yeah.
love kimchi jjigae. It's made from seafood based, so it's totally safe to be eaten. There's only tofu in there and kimchi, and also soybean paste soup. Yeah, or like yeah, those kind of food are safe to be eaten by Muslim travelers.
Yeah, that's wonderful because I think anybody that goes to a particular destination generally would like to savor the local authentic dishes. Sometimes because of non-halal availability, this becomes a restriction. Therefore, we end up having the Indian or the Muslim or
Right.
Pakistani food, which is not really
Really
representative of
authentic,
the
right?
culture. So
Yeah.
fantastic! You have done well. If that is more, because during my earlier in the very beginning visit, we have to start in where the mosque is. There's always something that is around there. Other than that, we are skeptical about
I bet
trying.
it's Itaewon.
Yeah,
It should be
yeah,
Itaewon.
that
Correct.
is the famous place.
Yeah.
So good. What about the challenges that's facing the F&B sector in going into halal? Do they welcome readily? Do they see this as a potential, or is it something that you really have to twist their arms or encourage, influence, whatever?
So because Korea is not really a Muslim majority country, so there are a lot still, plenty of F&B providers. They are not exactly aware on what how extensive or how halal is supposed to be. So we have been working with Malaysian government with JAKIM certification and also with HDC, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
halal industry, yeah, to provide education for F&B suppliers. And also, we hired a Muslim consultation agency as well to educate our staff in our headquarters that especially doing this promotion for Southeast Asian country to learn on halal food and what Muslim needs. Needs to do when they travel, like prayer place and such on. So we constantly providing educations for our staff and also for F&B suppliers in Korea.
Do they welcome those forums or training sessions? Are there any incentive you introduce to encourage them?
They do. Actually, every year since 2016, after we introduced this book is not just about the restaurant. We provide information on how they can learn like a bit of Korean phrases and about the locations of the restaurants and how many capacity, like maximum capacity of the restaurant, and where like we even teach tourists like how they can learn about Korean meals and such. So in terms of F&B suppliers, we, like I mentioned just now, we provide education, and then they did welcome it. They actually love to learn about halal terms, and then because we are receiving like majority of tourists, especially from Southeast Asian countries, because we are the nearest to Korea, like around 5 hours flight, 6 hours flight compared to the UK and Europe. So actually, Southeast Asian travelers are the most that visited Korea, apart from China and Taiwan.
So in most cases, they have Muslims within the premise, within the kitchen, to help or to assist,
In terms of that,
or it's not a
for,
prerequisite
for
for you.
for the restaurant that require accreditation from KMF, KMF people will actually come. They need to submit documents and such for this accreditation from KMF, and then they will have like enforce people to visit and check the kitchen and ingredients that they use. Yeah, if they need to be certified by Korean Muslim federations.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
From
every
a
year as
marketing,
well.
sorry, go on.
And every year as well, KTO has been doing a campaign called Halal Restaurant Week. It's not actually a week; it lasts until a month, where we provide promotion and also exposure for all these restaurants that are under our program. And we provided a coupon booklet, and also we created YouTube channel just to promote these restaurants in Korea, and Instagram as well.
So you got a lot of influencers coming from all over the world, I suppose.
Yes,
Yeah.
even during pandemic as well, since we can't travel there, so we hired our Southeast Asian influencer Muslim
Mhm.
in Korea. So they go around all over Korea to visit the restaurants and to try the food. And we also have like live cooking shows as well on YouTube for them to see how exactly Korean food is being made.
Are they well received by? Is there any sector that very skeptical about accepting those food, or they welcome very much because they've seen a lot of promotion?
Pretty much welcome
Yeah.
by F&B providers as suppliers. But again, it depends on. I think these days the mentality has changed. Back then, Korean people they don't really have much exposure when it comes to Islam. When they
Correct.
think of Islam back then, I think before 2010, because of ISIS, the Korean media, they always portray that Islam is not really a positive thing. But after we've been receiving a lot of tourists from Southeast Asia, I think the mindset has started to change, and then we started to put signage as well, especially in the main cities in Malay language and in Thai, so that people feel welcome there in Korea.
That's fantastic. Actually, Hiza, I just want to share with you something. In many of my talks in the forums, I always say this: the Muslim, contrary to the perception of the non-Muslim friends of ours, they always feel that we are creating terrorism and so forth. In actual fact, via culinary, we actually unite people. Putting halal food on the table would bring a non-Muslim and other faith together, and we can eat.
It
Otherwise,
did.
we will have to split. I will look for something else, you will look for something else, and other people will look for something else, and then we have to reconvene to join the work or whatever. So this is something that is a good message where we actually unite people. The halal food actually unite people of different faith and bring people together instead of we don't destroy people. Actually, this may help in your some of your marketing pitch. Now, we all know that, and not a single part of the world was spared with COVID and so forth. Now, I believe, talking to many people of variety of faith, I think people are beginning to be a little bit more concerned about their religious belief and so forth, in particular in Islam. Uh, there is a bit of concern. I think a lot of people have come back to the correct path and so forth. I think, in my view, the halal ecosystem will evolve, will get better. What is your view on that after the post pandemic? Do you see a better or less, or what are your plans? Future?
From our perspective, we will definitely increase our promotion and exposure for Korea and to promote it and to put it as a Muslim-friendly destinations. I mean, of course, we are still new compared to Japan and also UAE. We are still striving, but I believe there is chance for us to be on par with those UAE countries as well. Yeah, with the globalization as well. I think Korean people are started to be more accepting towards Southeast Asian and also Muslim travelers. So I don't think it will be a bit of concern on that.
Great, great, great. So we'll come back to you on the next
Right. Thank you, Datuk
round,
Ilyas.
if time permits. Now let's talk to next person from Japan, Kaiji Kadir Wada. How are you, Wada-san?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Alhamdulillah.
Fantastic. I'm glad to see now that there is a tremendous increase of halal food establishments in Japan lately. When I visited something like 15, 16 years back, trying to put together a conference in Japan, wow, it is quite a challenge to get across
Yeah.
what is halal food, explaining to them, even have to bring people to Malaysia to really expose them in this particular area. So you also, like Korea, do not have a large Muslim-based population, but I think, Alhamdulillah, you have managed to encourage. Share with us a little bit on how. I know that the Olympics has a biggest draw. I was particularly also involved in some episodes in the very early stages, which makes it possible even for all of us to pray now in the airports in Tokyo and some other cities. Maybe you'd like to share some of those success, how you influence the F&B sector.
Sure. Bismillah. Actually, we have been successfully encouraging the food and beverage sectors to tackle on the halal option until 2019, before the pandemic. Actually, we had, the Japanese people, Japanese companies had a big expectations on Tokyo Olympics 2020. Maybe that was the life-changing event. But however, more and more companies such as the restaurant and the hotels are really keen to halal options to welcome more Muslim customers. From the foreign countries like the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So it's a kind of the key to approach the Muslim market, right? However, it is very difficult for Japanese company to get halal certification, halal certificate. Halal logo. Since the most of them are targeting non-Muslim too. So that means they sell pork, sometimes alcohol, and non-halal food as well. And in Japan, it is said to we only have 200,000 people as Muslim. So the market is very limited. So how could it be the market for Japanese company to market in the Muslim market, while we have 120 million Japanese people? If they stop selling alcohol or pork, maybe their business is gonna be tough. So we suggest, the food diversity suggests the companies to disclose the ingredient, not halal logo, halal certification, but to disclose the ingredients that they are using in the dishes or food by the pictogram and the icons and Muslim-friendly guideline, not by halal certification, so that the Muslim consumer can individually judge if the food can be consumable or not by themselves. I think this is what we have been doing to encourage the Japanese companies, I mean, who done the right sectors to start halal options in Japan.
That's good. But what about the ingredients that is being used in cooking? Generally, there's a lot of infusion of sake or other alcoholic beverages into the food. How do they circumvent this? Is there any institution or teaches them, encourage them, substitute
In
for
many
halal?
in many cases, we conduct some seminars and consultings. What can be eaten, what can be allowed, and what is prohibited. So we check one by one, seeing the label, the backside of the product. Then we advise whether this food is consumable or not.
Do you have this available readily in terms of people coming to teach, people coming to sanitize the kitchen and so forth? Do you have the knowledge and the
Yes,
people there readily welcome?
that's right. Yeah. Actually, yeah, they are welcome. And then as a business, not volunteer, the company also get the income or the profit from their business, from their own business. So to target the more income, more the profit, we have to show how we can market in the Muslim population, Muslim countries. This is what we have been to persuade the company to tackle on the halal options.
Okay, with halal food now becoming a lifestyle more than just religious belief, do you see that changing the landscape of probably the younger people, and then also vegan is coming very very strong. Therefore, there will be less consumption of meat, whether it is pork or beef or anything else. How does this being perceived by the market in the family sector?
Actually, in Japan, the faith is still beginning. So if still the people heard of the halal, the food is only for Muslim. They will perceive like that way.
Uh,
Yeah, so it's kind of an exclusive understanding for Japanese people. So we educate, the people. I mean, non-Muslim people as well. The halal is, for everybody, not only for Muslim.
correct, correct.
But Japan is still, the beginning, step still.
I did mention this in one country where I speak at the forum. I said that if you eat a halal chicken or halal food, it doesn't make you a Muslim. But
Yeah, yeah,
actually, this is something that people understand maybe differently. So it's education. I think is important to share with them. By just eating the halal food does not convert them
yeah.
at all. But if they like Islam, they're welcome to do so at their own free will. But the food doesn't bother. So maybe that should be also infused in the minds of the people, so that if I can understand if you are looking at 120 million versus a 200,000 in terms
Yeah.
of percentage, you're catering for probably a very very minor market. But don't forget that there are also 1.8 billion Muslims around the globe that is visiting the country, that may
Definitely.
not they will be a larger target than the domestic. But eventually, if the people now, if a non-Muslim Japanese or non-Muslim of any faith anywhere invite me for a lunch or dinner, and if they can share the same table, share the same food,
Yes.
I think that will augur well, isn't it? So maybe
Yeah,
this
that's right.
should be mentioned to them.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, that concept, that idea is ideal for Japan's market as a Singapore, right? So the most of the population are not Muslim. So we have to be inclusive. So actually,
Exactly.
our company name used to be Halal Media Japan, Halal Media Japan. But we changed the company name from Halal Media Japan to Food Diversity to make it more inclusive, not only for Muslim, but for everybody in Japan. in the world. I mean,
In your personal belief, do you see this growing positively in Japan across the whole country?
I can say yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Are you working closely with the tourism NTOs and so forth to really promote halal
Yeah,
or Muslim friendly Japan?
that kind of movement are getting active. Like as same as Korean tourism organization. We working with sponsor from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia to to interview the restaurant and shooting and make videos, post Instagram and so on. So that kind of the movement campaign is getting more active in Japan as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the YouTubes, of Muslim youngsters promoting the halal, where it's so friendly and so forth. I think things are changing. The marketing methodology has changed now with
It's been
TikTok and
changing.
YouTube and so forth. It has wiped out the old traditional methods. But I'm sure. Do you have any of those guidebook and that you do like what Korea has done? You have something similar that people can avail
Y-
themselves, or
Yes,
you're going
actually,
digital all the way?
the my company are publishing the maps. The maps are focusing on the various various areas from the Hokkaido to Okinawa. And then if you have that maps, you can see where you can play, where you can eat, and that even though they don't have the halal certification, halal logo, what kind of the how can I say, the halal option do they have? Like the just without the pork and the alcohol, or using the halal chicken, halal beef, or Muslim chef, Muslim owners, and so on. So and then the Japanese government also put the budget on making that kind of promotion tool, like a maps and guidebooks as well.
That's fantastic. That's good. That's good. That's good. I hope it will evolve and will grow much better, because I think that the like I mentioned, we all know the numbers. The current population of Muslims is very very high, and the growth rate is also high. Therefore, the potential in every non-Muslim country that is going to attract Muslim visitors would definitely be a plus if you make it Muslim friendly. Thank you, thank you. We're moving on. Let's talk to Dr. Traslin in Taiwan, another very popular destination, which is also a fantastic destination. I see Taiwan present in many of the Muslim-friendly tourism forum, or many exhibitions and so forth. I think you are very aggressive in getting involved and trying to make the destination Muslim-friendly. Maybe you can share with us also, like what the others are sharing, how different or how similar you do things in Taiwan. Dr. Trust.
Thank you, Ilyas. First of all, we got a vision. We want to be a Muslim-friendly country, so that we can attract more Muslim visitors. As Ilyas just mentioned, there are 1.8 billion Muslim travelers around the world. So it's our main target. But in Taiwan, there's only about 50 to 70,000 Muslims. So in Taiwanese people, they know very few about Muslim culture. So to attract, become a Muslim-friendly country, especially Muslim food, halal food, we have so many difficulties. So first step is we cooperate with some Muslim organization in Taiwan to certify the halal food, so that people can know the protocol and process to get a halal certification. And then second, we just have a food show in Taiwan, and we had the halal food section. And actually next year we are going, because like 5 or 6 years ago, we only had around 50 to 60 halal food restaurant, but now we have around 250.
Oh,
So from 0 to nothing, from 0 to 50, and from 50 to 200 something. And
it's a big
next year we
achievement.
are, yeah, great achievement, and we are going to have some halal food competition next year. So we want to have some local Muslim food that is famous. So that's our next step. And then we do have some subsidies, because when we talk with hotel and restaurant, you have to prepare the second cookware. But they are wondering, if we had do that, then if there's no Muslim visitors come, then that would be a waste. So we do some subsidy to help them to be up a second kitchen or a section of in the kitchen that is for Muslim visitors. And then we also do lots of marketing for them to attract more Muslim visitors. And actually, for the past 5 to 6 years, visitors from Malaysia, Indonesia, and also Middle East countries increasing dramatically. So they are right now quite. Muslim restaurant is more and more popular, and for the restaurant owners, they have the idea that, okay, I have to have halal certificate, otherwise there's no business for Muslim visitors. So far we are doing good in this part, and we also like to think that we have the second number 2 rating next to Singapore for non-OIC countries for Global Muslim Traveler Index. So
congratulations.
we are so grateful, because that do help us and help us in international marketing, or also help us in persuading our local restaurant transforming to a Muslim friendly restaurant.
No, because Chinese food by tradition is very, very, there's too much variety. And it's a pity that 1/5 of the population cannot try that food because of restrictions on halal. And I think if you have somehow sent a message across, it is fantastic indeed. I think you have come a long way, as you said, from 0, 50, 50 to 250. This is a big achievement. Is there any target that you set for the coming years in your promotion?
I think because right now the restaurant owner, they know the importance of Muslim friendly restaurant. They need to have a halal certificate. So we are talking about maybe within next 5 years we have 500 restaurants, Muslim friendly restaurants.
That's good. I look forward to visit and try some of your Muslim restaurant halal.
And we hope they are not only just Muslim friendly with certificate of halal, and we want them to be a delicious halal food. So
Definitely,
that's why
definitely.
next year we have a competition for that.
Fantastic, fantastic. I hope you invite me to come there to see.
And you can be the judge.
Yeah, please, please. I always be very happy and honored to do that. Great, thank you. Now we come to our neighbor Singapore, which is nothing new to talk about halal, but nonetheless, Singapore, like many other countries, is very cosmopolitan, like Malaysia, like Indonesia. I think Singapore has evolved tremendously. I think along with the growth of the halal market, I think Singapore probably, in my opinion, is the earlier country to capitalize. I think you have made a lot of transformation because of this neighboring Indonesia, Malaysia patronage. So maybe if there's anything to look back and share, so that our other 3 countries could benefit from what are the initial started that make you switch into a little bit more stronger halal presence in Singapore. Please share with us.
Thank you, Datuk Ilyas. I think you're right. Singapore, we do have a wide variety of halal food offerings. That's also owing to a sizable Muslim population. about 12 to 15% of our local population are Muslim in Singapore. So in terms of availability of food, places to pray and worship is sufficient in Singapore. What we are trying to aggressively do is market Singapore as a Muslim-friendly destination to our neighboring countries. It's a huge market for us. Indonesia is our second largest market. Malaysia is our fourth largest market in terms of tourism. So from the tourism lens, it's very important that we do communicate and educate visitors coming into Singapore that there are halal food offerings for them. And I think it's not just about the variety. We also want them to know that, you know, when you talk about halal food, it's not just halal Malay food or Indian food in Singapore. Singapore being a culinary hub, we want them to know that you can find halal Japanese food, halal Korean food, halal Mexican food, halal Swedish food, Italian food, all sorts of cuisines that you may want to try. In Singapore, there are the halal options. So the variety is there. The convenience is also there. It's not just concentrated in maybe Geylang Serai or Kampong Glam, which is the traditional neighborhoods where you find a lot of Muslim residents staying or shopping or visitors traditionally visiting. But more and more we see a lot of these halal F&B establishments or eatery popping up in other neighborhoods, lesser known places, non-touristy places. And I think that's a good sign, right? So you talk about variety, you talk about convenience. And lastly, we also want the halal dining experience in Singapore to be unique and something that people look forward to. So eating is not just maybe a functional thing, right? Maybe an Indonesian tourist or Malaysian tourist or someone from the Middle East come to Singapore, they do all the great shopping at Orchard Road, and then they just need to eat. They just pop by the hawker center or the food court to eat. We want them to make a point to visit a halal restaurant or a halal cafe that has really unique food as well that is halal. So I think we want to turn dining into something that people even consider as a purpose of visit when they come to Singapore. And we have a lot of events in Singapore that are dining related, right? We have a lot of Michelin restaurant, we have food festivals. How can we then pivot some of these elements to include halal dining or halal experiences that are Muslim friendly? That, I think, is the next step to make Singapore truly Muslim friendly.
Well, that's fantastic. I think what you have put together is very, very good, because a lot of people perception generally is when it is a Muslim related food, or it has to be Malay, has to be Middle East or Pakistani food, this and that. But expanding it across the globe would make the journey a culinary experience. I think culinary tourism is picking up in many parts of the world, especially in the neighboring. Everybody wants to savor the authentic dishes of each particular country when they visit. But therefore, I think your method of introduction to halal food is fantastic. But are the players accepting this very well, or you have to really influence, or how do you encourage?
Yeah, I think it's been a journey as well for the Singapore F&B industry to pivot into getting halal certified. I think we are seeing more and more establishment getting halal certified, and I think it's probably not Singapore Tourism Board's place to comment, because we are not the lead agency for this. But our consultations with the F&B industry and talking to some of the practitioners, we understand the process of getting halal certified is not too difficult or not onerous at all, right? So I think it has to be a commercial decision that some of these F&B owners, concept owners want to take on themselves. And I think we convince them by saying that, look, there is a market. We need to shift the perception from thinking that 12% of a local population is a small market. If we look at the tourism potential, like I said, factoring our large arrivals from Indonesia, our second largest source market for tourism, which is Muslim majority, from Malaysia as well, which is our fourth largest Muslim fourth largest tourism market, also a Muslim majority market. Combine that with our local population, I think there is sizable demand for halal cuisine. Not just your usual Malay cuisine, but we are a melting pot. We are a cosmopolitan city to really try different concepts but make it halal, and that will make it appealing for everyone. And like you say, I think food unites people. So it's not just serving the Muslim community. A halal restaurant can also serve the non-Muslim community in Singapore and the other foreigners and visitors that we receive and welcome every year on an annual basis. Yeah.
Do you see this also expanding into hospitals and medical facilities that cater for Muslims?
Yes,
in the food area.
I think those medical facilities, they have started catering for halal options and cuisine. Probably not in a big way that we would expect them. But like I said, because from Indonesia, where I'm based, in Indonesia, in Jakarta, we see a big traffic, and especially for medical checkups and medical visits. So I think there is a need to cater and take these considerations into their planning as well. Yeah.
Great. I think if they're moving into that direction, is very good, because I think Thailand is doing that on the quiet side. The hospitals are very, very Muslim friendly too, so it's part of it.
I think for Singapore industry, sometimes I think when they see beyond us trying to change the perception and showing them the larger picture, I think when it makes sense commercially as well, that's when the real impetus for them to move. And I think it's very clear the commercial sense is there, right, from these markets. Yeah.
Great. I believe so. I think I mean, we are so close to you are so close to Malaysia to you, and all of the Singaporeans coming into Malaysia basically is more for dining experience, shopping and whatnot.
Correct.
Do you see this also moving into the hawker centers and whatnot? Are they beginning to accept halal?
Yes, our hawker centers, I think our most popular dining option. Singaporeans love to eat and dine. I think there are quite a lot of 24-hour hawker centers, right? It's our pastime to eat in Singapore. And in hawker centers, there will always be Muslim food. And I think increasingly there are more non-Malay and non-Indian halal food. There are other kinds of cuisines that are also halal. And I think we are trying, as a tourism board, we're trying to also promote, like I said, cafes or restaurants or concepts that are slightly different. This is also to move tourism spend in the dining area, right? I think we've traditionally promoted a lot of the street food, the hawker food in Singapore, including the halal options. Now we want to move into slightly mid-tier restaurants, cafe, and dining, higher dining options that are also halal. I think this is a way for us to capture that tourism spend from dining that will help us also grow the economy and create more jobs for Singaporeans as a whole.
That's great. We still have a few more minutes left, if my timing is correct. We should be able to come back with a little bit more around. I'd like to go back to Hiza. You see, touching a little bit on medical, because everybody wants to be Korean nowadays, whether look at the look and feel, cosmetic and so forth. You know? Do you see this also, like Firhan, do you see this happening in hospital in terms of medical care facility, that the foods are also halal available?
Oh, we haven't touched into this yet. We have been promoting wellness and also medical career as part of like the travel tourism promotion. But in terms of halal food, we still haven't yet to touch into that. Yeah.
Maybe there's one segment that you may want to
correct.
If they go for medical treatment, everybody wants to look pretty now, so they still want to be pretty inside also.
For Korea, it's famous. Like we have tons of hospital. It's not even hospitals. Like there are tons of clinics, and then they have like VIP service to cater you from the airport itself to bring you into Seoul and then do the treatments. It doesn't matter whether it's plastic surgery or medical procedures. Yeah. But we have all sorts of facilities for that. But I'm pretty sure if there are clients that request for halal food, the private hospital would definitely need to cater for that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else you want to add? Because we have I give you 1 or 2 minutes to wrap up.
I think it's same for everyone that it has been a very challenging period for all tourism industry in it.
Certainly.
Yeah, so I guess as a parent that having a sense of innovation is very crucial here just to survive and revive. And from us as well, from KTO marketing team, we are hoping that Malaysian tourists would not like forget Korea as a Muslim friendly destination, and hopefully when the borders are reopening, they still like to travel to Korea. Yeah, hopefully with all the marketings that have been done every year in terms of Halal Restaurant Week, and then also the promotions for on YouTube and on Instagram, hopefully we will still have like Malaysian tourists, and not just from Malaysia, like from Southeast Asia, all around the globe, that Muslim tourists that will still like to come to Korea.
Well, I think you have made a lot of noise already, so people are beginning to hear those things. And once the influencers are really pushing through, I think you probably will be successful in whatever target that you are driving towards. In particular, in this particular episode, we're looking at halal dining. I'm sure there's another new experience that people can come and eat. It's a local specialty. Thank you, Hiza. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Let's hear from Dr. Lin. Anything you want to add or wrap up the discussion today?
Yes. For the past few years, we built up our Muslim-friendly travel environment, and we had a lot of brochure just for Muslim, and also Halal Taiwan app. That if you open your app, that you can find your local halal restaurant nearby, or local halal hotels nearby. So it's easier for the Muslim visitor in Taiwan. But during the pandemic, even though that the border is closed, but we are still investing in a Muslim-friendly environment. So when the international travel resumes, I believe all the Muslim visitors to Taiwan will be surprised that we even upgrade our Muslim-friendly travel environment. And I hope to see more visitors from more Muslim visitors around the world in Taiwan. And thank you.
Well, I remain positive because I think as much as the pandemic has really given us or given the tourism industry a big blow, but I'm sure with efforts done by each individual destinations, I believe that you will be targeting the right market, and it will come back. It will come back slowly, but surely, inshallah.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Wada-san. Anything else you want to add or wrap up the what other points you have?
Yeah, let me add one. That due to this pandemic, actually, the Japanese people are really, more keen to the health problem or disease prevention, or sometimes environmental issue and climate changes and the SDGs. So maybe as a Muslim, itself, we have to be responsible for preserving the environment and the earth itself. It's a kind of the message from the Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, right? So maybe after this pandemic, our movement or our campaign towards halal market or halal tourism could be combining with a new idea, new technology, and so on. So, this is a kind of the clue for the next the tourism marketing, inshallah.
That's good. That's good because I think that's something that a lot of people may have misunderstood. Probably or no, we have not pushed forward. Halal food has the hygiene element very, very high in terms of potential to be certified, and it also actually is a healthy food if it's done or the slaughtering of the animals and so forth by the Muslim way. So I think this probably is not understood clearly, but as an option to also add on to the concerns of the non-Muslim faith, that it is hygienic, it is healthy, and therefore we should be able to subscribe to that.
Definitely.
I wish you all the best, Wada-san. Let's hope there's more traffic coming, and I also look forward to go back to see what's happening latest in Japan, inshallah.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Now we'll come back to Firhan. We give you the last wrap.
I think for Singapore, we are already starting to gradually open our borders in a very safe, calibrated manner through our vaccinated travel lane with a lot of our neighboring countries and also some of our longer haul markets. So I think we look forward to welcoming visitors back to Singapore and experience Singapore again in a safe manner. And if you are Muslim visitors, we also have a Muslim travel guide. So pick this up. It gives you a guide of where to eat and the places you can see and do in Singapore as well. So look forward to welcoming everybody back to Singapore.
Fantastic. Do you see an upsurge in the potential upsurge in the Muslim market from your research and so forth?
Yeah, so I think from the time our vaccinated travel lane has opened for applications from 22nd November for Indonesia and Malaysia, at least the demand has been very strong. We've seen a quick uptick in these next few months. The bookings have been strong. So hopefully that sustains all the way until Ramadan and Lebaran period, which is traditionally the peak period where these markets come to Singapore for their holidays. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, wishing you all the best, inshallah.
you.
I'm sure things will be moving towards what we all want by the grace of Allah, you know. Well, that comes to the end. I would like to thank you all for your input, and I hope that some of the pointers that may be, or there are common denominator that we can pick and share. And this is what this discussion and forum is all about. Sometimes standard practice in one country can be also taken and introduced to another place, and for the same objective. I take this opportunity to thank Fazal for putting this conference together. Jazakallah khair, and wishing everybody all the best. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.